Would you be confident there's a chance of bringing in a real kind of wow signing between now and the end of January that really makes a statement for your intentions at going through the league?
Well, I'm not told so much will cost and made as a disappointed. It's not the case, but maybe there's someone.
Keith, I would definitely. Oh, lost Keith there. There he is. I would definitely.
I don't know what's going on. We're getting some technical gremlins here.
I would definitely take that as at least he's got something up his sleeve. He's going to try and get some sort of wow sign.
Well, I have to tell you, the volume went in my headphones there. So having sort of set that whole thing up and said, "Oh, this is a really interesting question," I couldn't hear it, so I didn't know if anybody else did. But from earlier, I watched it, and the question was, "Is there a possible wow signing?" And the answer was, "Well, if I say that there is, then people might get disappointed if it doesn't happen." That sounds to me as if they think they've got a possible, rabbit up their sleeve.
Yeah.
And I don't think he even entertained that question in the way that he did it, although he was non-committal. He said enough to make you think that I think he's pretty confident that they do have something big still to come, which is surprising because I think that most people would have looked at Andreas Skov Olsen and thought, well, that'll be their sort of big capture of this transfer window. That's the sort of blue ribbon signing.
That's what I thought. Aye.
So that answer there leads me to believe they might have another one of a similar stature in the pipeline.
James in the comments sums it up, says, "Wow, the smirk at the end. He looks like the guy who knows where the Christmas presents are being kept." He did look very mischievous. I mean, who knows what will happen, but that definitely implied to me they're going to try something. So very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, it tells you they're in the running for something just now. Whether or not they can pull it off is a matter of question. But I don't think he even says as much as he said there, even though he didn't say too much. I think he said enough for the Rangers fans to think they're trying to pull off something here. They've got a possible joker in the pack still to play.
Yeah. Right, well, look, as I said, Rangers game is tomorrow night, and our esteemed colleagues Andy Newport and Scott McDermott were at the press conference today. Shall we hear their thoughts on Danny Rowe's comment?
And then let's get up the road. It's getting late, Dan.
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to the Rangers training ground. My name's Andy Newport. I'm joined by my record sport colleague Scott McDermott. As ever, Scott, we've just been in to speak to Danny Rowe ahead of tomorrow night's game against Ludogorets. What did the Rangers manager have to say for himself in his press conference?
A lot of different aspects to Andy. I mean, I suppose the main one for me is just the kind of balancing act he's going to need to find in the next few days. Obviously, with a vital league game on Sunday against Dundee, kind of sandwiched between two European games that, we've called them dead rubbers. Everybody's called them dead rubbers, but obviously it looks like if Rangers are going to win the Scottish Premiership title and have a chance to get straight into the Champions League next season, they need to pick up some points in these two games. So they've probably got a wee bit more importance than we've been giving them. But the message I thought for Danny Rowe today was pretty clear that the priority for him is the league and trying to win this title. It was almost like he was saying, look, we can't think about Champions League in Europe until we're the champions of Scotland, essentially. And I think that's a brilliant attitude to have. And I would actually go as far as saying a few Rangers managers before him have actually come unstuck because that hasn't been their attitude. I think at times Rangers have prioritised Europe rightly or wrongly, but it's probably cost them in the league. So in terms of his squad, it's going to be a balancing act. He says he's going to go strong against Ludogorets on Thursday night, which I can understand. But he has to have one eye on Dundee. Thankfully, he's got some players back. The injury, he's got 3 new players who can't play in Europe. Could come into the thinking for Sunday, so it's just going to find the next few days.
I mean, he's not got much choice in terms of the squad he picks. Obviously he put a second string against Annan on Friday night, but just the guys that are either aren't fit or the guys that aren't in the European squad, it means he's going to have to go with the sort of his first choice, his top team, isn't it?
And that's why I think the new players, certainly Chukwuani and Skov Olsen, look as if they're going to have a big part to play on Sunday, and that would just that would automatically freshen things up at the weekend. So, as you say, he's limited in terms of his options in Europe. He has to go with the UEFA squad. But I would expect some changes at the weekend, certainly with those two new boys. I mean, I asked him if Skov Olsen was ready to start. He wouldn't commit totally, but it sounded to me like he's tempted. No, he's obviously looked good in training for the last couple of days. The punters are dying to see him as well at Ibrox. I think it's a perfect game to throw him in.
And it's a huge game, as you say. You know, Rangers looking to carry on. Right now it's a 6-game winning streak. If you can get a result against Ludogorets, that takes you to 7, then obviously 8 against Dundee. But the real crucial point is that it's Hearts and Celtic playing off at Tynecastle, and give them a chance either to put a wee bit of daylight between themselves and Celtic, or perhaps tune to Hearts lead.
That's the thing again, but I liked Danny Rohl's attitude. It was a case of, look, it could be a really good day for us, but we've got a job to do first, and they can't underestimate Dundee. Who are actually in decent form. Now, ordinarily you would look at that game and think, no, it should be an automatic 3 points, but it'll not be easy, especially with the pressure involved now, actually being in a title race. So, no, it could be a big day for them at the weekend.
And we also spoke to Manny Fernandez today's press conference. I mean, it's going to be crucial as well. We've just learned that John Souttar's obviously out tomorrow night, and also Sunday's game against Dundee. Whispers this week of a groin injury. I think Danny Rohl was saying that it wasn't as bad as first field, which will come as a relief. But I mean, in terms of his selection, you know, it's going to be Nasser Giga, you imagine, against Manny Fernandez.
You would think so. Giga did recover himself in glory against Annan on Friday night, but he's probably the only option he's got to get him beside Fernandez, and it's a shame the Souttar issue, because we spoke to Manny Fernandez and he was talking about how much he's enjoying playing with John Souttar, having that kind of older guy beside him at the heart of the defence, talking about communication and stuff, and it did seem like they were striking up a pretty good partnership. As you say, thankfully the Souttar injury doesn't look too serious. Danny Rohl expects him to be back on next Monday, so he'll be relieved about that, because I think everyone accepts now that's his first choice pairing at the back, Souttar and Fernandez.
Well, we'll see if you can keep up to date with everything that happens Ibrox tomorrow night at Record Sport Online, and obviously in the paper too. We look forward to seeing you then.
And on Hotline Live too. Thanks very much.
I've got to say, and on a Hotline Live late night special.
Tomorrow night, absolutely, 10 p.m, a pyjamas special.
10 p.m. thereabouts, Dan.
Aye, there or thereabouts, of course.
Depending on injury time and all that sort of stuff.
Just very briefly, Keith, Ludogorets, they can still go through in the Europa League. They're on the same amount of points as Celtic, just above Celtic in goal difference. Do you think Rangers will get a result tomorrow night?
I've predicted for both games. I think if Celtic get a point in Italy, I think it would represent a terrific result on the road. I think that might be asking a bit much. I think Celtic might look to the final game at home to Utrecht thinking 3 points could be enough, probably should be enough. For Rangers, difficult one again. I've gone 2-1 for Bologna. I've gone 2-1 for Rangers, because I think with a bit of momentum and knowing that their last game's away to Porto, you can almost write that one